Now, I bought my Yamaha Crossplane R1 in 2009. I've owned it ever since. It's a one owner, and I have customized it to suit my needs. A lot like Yamaha did when they created the MT10 years after I had done it. So what came first, the chicken, the egg, or the MT10? Or the MT09? I'm not sure. I don't care. Probably you don't either. But this bike is a unique bike to suit my needs. And at 80 years old, I still enjoy going through the gears, having a lot of fun, and making videos to entertain my friends. Going back to 2009, there really was nothing like an MT10. If you wanted an R1 type of bike, a full sport bike with a full high performance engine, maximum power, titanium rods, everything, whatever, you had to make it yourself, and you had to start, of course, with an R1. And in my case, that's exactly what I did. I made a lot of carbon fiber parts, including the headlight inserts. Tried to make the bike look a little bit like Josh Hayes's bike of the era, and I did the carbon fiber muffler covers, some custom badging, just a lot of little things that all add up to customizing a bike. I wanted mirrors I could see out the back, not just mirrors I could see my shoulders in, and it's just me. It's custom touches to make the bike suit me. Now, maybe in this day and age, you can just go down and get an MT10 and it's got a lot of these features in it. I'm not sure, but I know this bike suits my needs pretty well. Now, I've owned it 16 years, and in 16 years, I have enjoyed customizing it, enjoyed riding it, enjoyed painting a lot of the parts that were flat black Yamaha blue. I enjoyed making some of the parts and adding some of the features like the sprock's rear sprocket and just little touches. If you look really close, the bike has hundreds of little touches you don't see until you look close. And every ride I get, I try to get some of it on these really twisty back roads. I just love these roads. They're shady, they're slippery from time to time, but it's just the nicest part of the ride. You can relax a little bit in between going through the gears, and some of the turns, there's only one problem. Some of them do have some little slippery spots or some stones. Now, it's kind of a funny story. When I first picked up the bike from Motorcycle Mall and drove it home, it was, and I've told this story before, it was very light snow. I brought it into the garage after about a 20-minute ride home, and immediately put the kickstand halfway down. The bike fell on its side and didn't really do a lot of damage, but it really got my attention. And then I realized my hands were so cold and I was just rushing and not paying attention. And I said, boy, this bike is going to be a treasure. Even on just that short ride home, I said, I love this bike. I loved the way the motor sounded. I went into this long ordeal of getting the break-in miles on the bike and doing all the preparation for seeing what the bike had to offer. And when I was done, the bike just, it was so much fun riding this bike. Right in the beginning, right after the break-in miles were done, I just could not wait to do some more custom touches on it. And every time I did something, I kind of said, wow, that's a new rule I have in the back of my head. One of the rules was, see the shiny parts in the inside of the fairing? A stock bike is flat black. Every time I painted some part of the bike that was flat black, shiny, or made it carbon fiber shiny, I liked the bike even more. It was a labor of love. The muffler covers, I eventually made a whole exhaust system. I'll show that at the end of the video. But this part of it, step by step by step, was just so much fun and so memorable. And again, every time I made some flat black part blue or shiny, I was much happier with the bike. Now, on the weekends when we try to get a group together and go for a group ride, these roads are just perfect because everybody I've ever taken to this area seems to enjoy the relaxed atmosphere. There's just almost no traffic at all. And it's a little bit more fun than riding around in between traffic lights and radar traps and, oh my God, everything else, that manhole covers missing and whatever. Anyway, this is a wonderful part of the world if you're a motorcyclist, and I try to enjoy it every single day. Now, there's just something about a cross-plane engine. It's a little bit different, and I do have an FCR 1000, a 1991, that is totally different. They're made by the same manufacturer and made for the same purpose, but totally different feel. And it seems like when you're on a cross-plane, you always have the torque you need right in the palm of your hand. You don't have to downshift. I don't know if that's true and if you put it on a dyno, but it feels that way. And that feel is something that I really enjoy. Now, where we're riding again, and I've said it before, it's such a wonderful part of the country, almost all year long. There's probably a month or two in the winter when it really is, they salt the roads and whatever, and there's ice on the roads and black ice. But we have about a 10-month, if you're really a tough guy, a 10-month riding season, and right at the end and the beginning, of course, it does get a little chilly, and well, we deal with it. And most of my friends that we ride together, we just try to enjoy every possible day you can ride. And I'm sure if you ride in an area of the country where it's beautiful all year long, yeah, maybe Florida, California, whatever, well, Arizona, I don't know. Well, maybe it's too hot. I don't know. I don't know any place in the world that I'd rather be riding. And to be honest, I don't know any other bike I'd rather be riding either. Every time I get back from a ride, I think about the 16 years that I've owned a bike and how much fun I've had, how much enjoyment I've gotten from it, how many trips I've gone on it. And this bike, when I first got it, of course, it was a Ferrari bike. Here it still had the headlights on it. The Ferrari stickers, we were trying to convince everybody it was made by Ferrari and then having a good laugh when they believed it. I made the exhaust system that I've shown on video many times. And it was relatively loud, and then titanium, of course, and all the carbon fiber work I molded myself. And this bike, it's all details. Painting the wheels, the video that I have out on the channel of painting the wheels is very, very labor intensive if you do it the way I did it. But in the end, you have a set of wheels that'll last forever and look great, and paint won't be peeling off and chipping off and everything. But it's an ongoing thing of making little changes. I made 2 seat pillions, a high one and a low one. I kind of like the low one better. Again, the graphics I've changed on the bike to 2010 graphics, the 3-dimensional graphics. And just so many details. It's hard to describe. They're all out on the channel. If you're bored to death, you can go out and just put in R1, search the channel for R1, and a lot of cool stuff will come up. And all of the rides we had in the time before COVID, Perry's, when Perry's was around, and of course Bear Mountain and Perkins, all wonderful memories. Now, if you're new to our channel, we have a very, very eclectic channel. One of the new features we have now is some of the videos are grouped into groups that you can access all the videos for one category in one mouse click. And it should be very convenient and very handy. Just check out the feature on the main screen playlist. And thanks to everybody for supporting the channel. We appreciate your support, and it makes this channel possible with all the things we do, the painting, the wheels, the polishing. And please take a second or two and hit the like button. And thanks everyone for watching.